What's up, everyone? This is the Godfather Dictator.
And Sarah from 17.
Welcome to my Chapter 8 of Master Ninja No Damage Run. It's one of those wonderful military chapter. The beginning, as always, annoying. Less
Yep.
than other, I would say, maybe.
It's an interesting conversation, isn't it? Because this is when you really get introduced to the concept of a barrage of rockets. And even though it's annoying on a psychological level, I don't think it's quite as taxing as some of the other parts. So this is definitely the part of the game where it feels like it's getting easier, even though it's probably getting cheesier.
Because I feel there's certain, like right now, for instance, my arrow not hitting,
Yeah, this is
but
weird.
it is very weird, but I feel it gets to a point where, not for everything, because there's always a RNG in that game, but where strat can get more consistent up to a point, if you want, where you can, like we'll see later on, but you can use, the environment and certain
Yeah.
places to your advantage in here. And even though the rocket, as you say, are kind of unforgiving if you're in the volley, if you're not, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's actually a lot more fair than the arrows because they have travel time, they're a projectile, and they don't one frame you with hit scan like the archers do. So, as much as these guys look intimidating and they used to really kill the frame rate at times, especially in Ninja Gaiden 3 if you ever played that, they're not as lethal as the guys that you've already come across.
Yeah, and right now, actually, it's rare that they do this where they just decide to, get up close for no
Yeah,
apparent
he ran,
reason.
he ran all the way to you to then start shooting at you anyway.
Sometimes I have really a hard time, and you see these, they stay back. I have a hard time figuring out the logic of this game, like really sometimes you think you figure out the enemy pattern and then they surprise you by doing something completely different from what
I
they
think
did
this level's
before.
perfect for that as well. Because
Yeah.
it's a lot of strange oddities happening with these ninjas. And then when the big guys turn up, the robotic fellows that
Yeah.
you're going to be wrecking soon,
It's
those
just
guys as well.
it's really good, by the way, that Farnham told me kind of that trick right here with the site where they cannot reach you, and also it's a point
Ah,
where you can avoid getting hit by the rocket further in. And after, once you get rid of the majority of the mechanical dude, you can start dispatching the rocket. But as you can see here,
that is a
the
cheeky spot.
the rocket dude, he ran all the way here, and that's something again I don't understand. When exactly do they do that? You see that there's one right now
Yeah,
running
one guy
towards me
running towards you.
in the
Yeah.
background. So it's kind of hard to follow sometimes the logic of what they do, but this spot, for the most part, is pretty damn reliable. But there's still some times where if you're not placed properly, you can take damage. And here is one of those moments
Uh-oh.
where I was trying actually to do a charge with the arrow, but I think you saw that the frame was dipping, and
Yeah.
I had a hard time like calibrating myself if you want to do a proper on landing with the arrow, which is kind of annoying. And here I was not trying to hit that guy, I was trying to hit the rocket guy behind, but I could not reach him for some reason.
And this is all on the same checkpoint as well, isn't it? 'Cause the first checkpoint's just after this push.
Yes, and after you got more rocket though, so it's still
Yeah.
not done. And of course, after the first checkpoint, when we got there, we have one of the best enemy straight after the first checkpoint. I don't know if you remember what it is, but
I've got an idea, yeah.
all
I've
right.
not played this chapter that much, but I do remember it because it's full of this.
I'm sorry for that because I had a phone call in the background.
Always
People
good.
were hearing the menu sound from Ninja Gaiden Black.
See,
Uh,
that's how they know you're a true fan.
Indeed, right? I love though that tone. It's that ringtone is perfect because it's pretty damn loud, so I know when it's happening. So yeah, so to go back after this, you got more rocket, and here I could not hit that mechanical dude. It's in my life. He's
Layers
hiding.
upon layers of collision here.
Yeah, he's hiding behind the tank, But right now, I'm not sure. I'm thinking what I might do is try to go for a OT on that guy, or okay, no, I'm playing it safe, and I'm
I don't
going
blame
for
you.
another charge. Yeah, yeah. I think that's mostly from the part of when I try to go in, uh, I will take damage, and then
Definitely.
that whole section. That's the problem with this game, is that the whole section every time at the beginning of chapter gets really infuriating because the checkpoint is far in,
Yeah.
where it could
They're
have,
always grueling.
yeah, it could have been easily a safe statue before, but they wanted to make it hard. And you see now we got more of these enemies, and some of them sometimes get stuck like in the geometry around, so it makes it slower, and you see the frame dipping also.
Every time that guy fires, man.
Yeah, it doesn't help. So I think this is the last one here. This fight, right now when I'm watching him and he's stuck in there. Oh no, there's another one behind.
Yeah, there's just one just populated.
Uh, Makes you see though how sometimes a lot of these fight on Master Ninja seem. I almost got hit there.
Ooh.
I recovered real fast by canceling the animation, but I
Yeah,
almost
you.
got hit, and there luckily I could shoot through the
And here comes another one for your efforts.
right. Like how many? And you see another one.
Oh my goodness,
How
it's an
many?
assembly line. Look at this.
I had found my spot though to shoot,
Yeah, that's definitely a strong position.
and luckily enough, during all that time, that guy left me alone, which was like really lucky, I guess, on my part.
Do you think you would have done this differently if there weren't the bombardments from the soldiers with the rockets? If it was just these metallic guys, do you think you would have been a little
Tomfa?
bit more different with your strategy? Oh, well, I was going to say, do you think you would have Tomford it up?
Yeah, most likely I would have.
Most likely.
Yeah, if not, what I could try next time, because for those that don't know, there will be a next time. For what I could try though next time, I could try to see if I can get rid of the archer first, and then after finish up these guys. This ended up being kind of nice until he got out of it.
Yeah, and that's always the big threat, isn't it? Because it's when you don't expect it, he gets out of it, and then he grabs
And
you.
that was one of the weirdest OT.
What was that?
I'm not too
Did
sure.
you OT him through the sandbags?
Yeah, I did. And after, did you see that it elevated their position and ended up doing like the OT midair? It's
Throw
really,
back for the arrows.
yeah.
Replenish those bad boys.
It's really important for the next fight. I found a good spot for the next fight, um, because before that place I watched the other guys run.
Hmm.
Which,
Chinese one.
yeah, which now though that
As
this
we
one,
like to call it, the invalid
the
run.
invalid run, like, because yeah,
The
now
not no damage run.
the not no damage run, because now for those by the way that don't know, guys, why we're saying that is that the run at this point where we're doing the commentary is officially done. So right now we can say for 100% that the other one right now,
In your run, you took no damage. In his run, he took damage.
yeah, simple as that.
We're not trying to be
spoil,
elitist.
but-
We're not trying to shit on another player. He's obviously a very good player. It's just facts are facts.
Yeah. He's a great player, man. No denying that. It's just, I guess, he didn't think further in without spoiling that some of the strategy that I did were possible, and
Yeah.
as myself, I didn't think they were possible because I didn't know until I did it.
Well, yeah. Speaking from experience, I think anybody that's tried to do a no damage run, when you get to a segment and it feels like it's mandatory damage, I'm really quick to accept that fact and move on. I'll try a few things. I'll go for a couple strategies, but if it isn't working, I'll just be like, well, you can't avoid that next bit.
Yeah.
And he probably did the same thing.
Yes, that's what I think. That's what I think he did. So here, the wonderful enemy I'm talking about.
Is it the dogs? Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful dog.
I always remember them all coming in here because it's a cluster of everything I don't like about Ninja Gaiden.
The good thing though is that the site dispatch them really quick when you're lucky with RNG, because they gotta does that make sense if I said they gotta kind of all funnel through so you can
Yeah.
line them up, and
You have to hit that sweet spot on them all.
exactly, and that does help a lot clearing that fight. And sometimes some of these,
Rare
really,
footage of tack ninjas.
yes, some of these really hard fucking fight, they take 2 seconds to do. It's crazy. You would be there and doing that fight for, we'll say, a couple of hours, and then
Interesting.
you end up, you see the footage, and it's like a 1 minute fight. What did you
You can
think, by
fight
the
for
way, was
eternity
interesting here? What
Well, you went with the launch, didn't you? The jumping attack with the scythe to levitate them off the ground.
Yeah.
Was that similar input to what you do with the Luna to get them into the zone of drop?
Yeah, actually, yeah. It's
Because I was wondering, is it like muscle memory coming out there, or was that just something you tested and it worked well?
it was on that spot right now. It was probably improvised.
I was going to say, because one would think you would have guillotine throwed.
Yeah,
'cause that
yeah,
seems
yeah.
to be the go-to.
Yeah. That happened. There's one thing though that's good with the sight and the lunar, for instance, is that sometimes, not always, obviously, but sometimes when you miss that guillotine throw, you're still gonna be able to do a follow-up move that
Yeah.
will almost make it seem like you didn't want to do a guillotine throw. For example,
Makes
with
sense.
the lunar, is that when you jump and I miss it, we'll say, it's an habit after to press X, Y, which if I hit something, it's gonna go into a isomer drop with the lunar. But anyone, I would say, that knows the game enough and see those circumstances where, I don't know, I was trying here to see if I could shoot through, but did not work.
And you probably can, right? It's just you can't see. Oh no, maybe you
no,
can't.
No, I can't. That's what I was trying. But anyone, basically, even including yourself, that has enough experience with the game, I think.
Is that a loot on the ground?
A what?
Itagaki was ahead of his time. See that little guitar that you stood on?
Yeah. Yeah.
In like a ukulele and a loot shop. I do apologize, dude. Continue.
No, it's all right. But that's it. Is that anyone that would know the game enough will see those occasions where you're going for a guillotine throw and you miss it, and you change it into something else. But in the end, it doesn't change much, because as long as you don't take damage in those instances, you could, like, of course, it could be prettier, but in that game,
It's like using the shurikens, isn't it, to cancel out of things and to save yourself when you miss a move or you miss a flying attack and you want to get some extension or stay out of trouble.
yeah, and these doesn't always work either, at all. Now we're coming up to another really annoying part, actually.
IS shurikens.
Yeah, but you know what is the next part? You remember?
I don't, but there's one fight coming up on this level I remember very fondly, which is
you'll
going
see
to like
real
a
quick.
cathedral and it's full of IS ninjas, and I'll remember those guys. Is this the mines?
Yes.
Ah, yeah. This is a bad one.
The problem with that is that I want to obviously commit and do like the next fight, but the next fight with the rocket in the window and all of this is really fucking bad. And here there's a way to, if you want to reach the next section, you don't want to hit the snow anywhere, because there's mine all over the place, and you're just gonna get instantly melted, and these do a lot of damage. Here I'm actually wondering the fact that there's an impo there, if I'm gonna use an impo myself right now, or if I'm just gonna leave it there and it's gonna disappear. Like, I think I'm not gonna do anything, because then.
What do you think the motivation is behind a part like this? You know, when you see how it's set up with the mines and with the rocket guys in the window, and it's the antithesis of what Ninja Gaiden usually is, isn't it? It's just almost a shooting gallery of explosives and awkwardness.
Yeah, I feel it's a bit of saying you're not gonna get through here without taking damage.
It has to be, doesn't it? Or it was the inspiration for Devil's Third.
Yeah, but even though I commit to these fights and I do them, they're not particularly entertaining to watch or anything.
Or fun.
Yeah.
That's the problem, isn't it?
That definitely not. It's mostly for the commitment at that point, and just like, these enemies are there, I could bypass them, I could escape them. That's what the other guy did.
I would skip them.
Yeah, I have no doubt. But at that point, I'm like, in the middle of the fight, let's just come into it. It's really hard to find the sweet spot, and here, you would think I would be able to hit them,
That's nonsense.
but you see, it does not hit anything, and that's a weird case of the bad collision, if you want.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Works for them, which is not good, and
they're essentially third-person cover tricking you.
Yes, that's what they're doing, and then if I move further in, they're gonna angle me, and not the opposite. And right now you can see again.
Come on.
I'm trying. Oh, and this time it hit there. It's hard to follow on why sometimes it would hit and the other time it doesn't. And a lot of time here I went out, be ready to aim, and boom, I straight up got hit. Of course,
when you were playing Metal Gear Rising,
yes.
did you get to that segment with the lobby where you call an elevator and then a bunch of enemies kind of storm you, and there's an invisible force field stopping you from fighting them, so you have to essentially play like a moron?
I think that was after the moon boss.
Monsoon fight.
Yeah. I think, as I told you, I kind of...
It's an encounter that reminds me of this because it has absolutely nothing to do with playing that game in the way that game is fun. And it's a ranked fight too, so if you want to get S rank on that game, you have to do it. And it's one of those parts that I've not played that game now for a few years, and I do adore it, and I look forward to going back to it. But that lobby section?
Yeah,
I'll probably never do it again, because there's no fun there for me. I don't enjoy that, and I don't know why it exists. And I look at this with the same eyes, with the same thoughts.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't really argue there. What's fun here is nothing. I think that part right now of me using Nimbos.
Piercing Void is fun, right?
That's the
like
fun. That's the best thing of that fight right now. Is me using 2 Piercing Void. And why could I do that is because I can't afford it. There's a little shroom here, and
mushrooms.
And I think there's even another one straight after.
Yeah, the room coming up is the room that I'll always remember.
Oh yeah, this one is really hard.
It's the triumphant return of the IS ninjas.
Really hard.
A rough fight.
It is a rough fight. And it seems easier than what it is. You see, boom, another one, and
it is.
I go down before I grab it, an instinct telling me like, hey, you already got it, but no. So yeah, here a notorious fight actually. Look, it will look easy, obviously, when you do it,
does.
but you don't see like all the fails before, and even staying here, is still hard.
Whoa.
Because they.
I remember fighting this room. It was a nightmare.
It is, because they come in at a bad, if you want, random rate, and sometimes they get stuck in the wall to the left side of, like, here right now, and you'll see what I mean a little later. And after it's like you gotta move to get some of them basically out of the way. And even there, I did it a couple of times. And did you see her that I grabbed an info? I did. It's guaranteed I didn't know it was an info. If not, I wouldn't have done it.
You're getting quite lucky with Nimpo drops on this mission.
Yes, well, it's like that 54th attempt of a lucky Nimpo drop. But
well, if every time you got a Nimpo drop it was a drinking game, we'd all be sober.
Damn, yeah. Do you see what I mean right now?
Yeah, they're all stuck on the pillar, aren't they? They can't quite path to you.
They cannot, and right now that's why I'm wondering, what do I do? Do I keep trying to UT? And sometimes, funny enough, the UT can go through. I hit them before.
Oh really?
Yeah. It's just right now I feel that we're
you really were taking no chances. It's not like you to throw an impo there.
No, it's definitely not. But it's because once I get him out of the wall, yeah, I was like, fuck that. I'm not taking a chance. I cannot charge again. I know they're gonna be too fast coming at me, so that's a no. My only option was to use an impo, and at that point of the game, it's one of those points where you have plenty of money to get an impo, and it's about using the resources that are at your disposition instead of being, we'll say, too proud or trying to make it hard for yourself for no fucking
Which
reason.
we all know you like to do.
Yeah, and I did on multiple instances, which I did again. When I rethink about it, for example, just chapter 1, to do the fucking Rasetsu fight at the end without using Nimpo, that was silly. I committed to it.
But it's what makes you you.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's why people are going to watch it and enjoy it, because it's cool.
Hopefully a few, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so, dude. I really do.
So right now, bat, but the kind of nice one.
Yeah, it would be cool, this corridor, if there were bats here.
As long as they're not the fiend bat, I'm good. I'm good.
Flying burial.
Yeah, flying burial. They don't die from a UT of a lunar. That's a bit silly,
Can you imagine if there was aerial UTs?
I don't know. Well, actually, that would be really interesting for those flying enemies.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
And
I don't
here,
know how you would input it, but still, very cool.
here, by the way, that other guy obviously skipped that fight. It's a
Oh,
really
you skip this one too.
Yeah, it's a really annoying fight though. So what I do is I don't skip it, but I go back in that corridor, and I'm
bait
gonna
them down to the
use.
scythe.
Yeah, exactly. And you see,
It's just smart though, isn't it? People will look at this and be like, oh, all you do is spam UTs, this is really cheesy. But when you think about how difficult it is to engage them in that big room compared to baiting them into this corridor and then just brutalizing them, it reminds me of that sequence in the Raid, Raid 2, when he's in the toilet in the prison.
Yeah.
And there's a million dudes trying to kill him. What's he going to do? Go outside so they can all stamp on him? No, he's going to bait him through a doorway.
Yes, and then take them on one by one. Basically.
Yeah, take them on in a more realistic approach, even though it's still 50 versus 1. So it's possible.
Yeah, so it's not realistic at all, but we still love it,
And we still believe it because it's in a more believable format.
Yeah, but in here, the real problem with the IS Ninja, for anyone that basically played the game, is that if they're on the offensive and they want to go melee, it's perfect because they're easy to guillotine throw because they're going to be in straight line. But when they go with their monkey circular movement, you know what the fuck I'm talking
the
about.
counter strafes.
It's just really annoying, and these guys, they move on purpose like that so you cannot line them up with a guillotine throw.
I think it's programmed to read your input.
It is.
And counter move with you.
It is, but after, that's the problem, is that they either go offensive and you have a good RNG, or they will basically go on a fucking spammy whammy move, and they won't stop spamming the incendiary and all. By the way, I gotta quick mention right now, Tomfa.
How was this fight, by the way?
How was the fight? Not too bad.
Because before you verse this guy on his own, don't you? And now they introduce the armored fellows.
Yeah, not too bad. The thing that I would say here on this fight to do, and I don't know here what I press start.
We talking to your chat?
Yeah, I don't know. And why the hell did I not edit that? Is probably because it's not that long. But the real thing here is to clear the fight before there's too much rocket spawning, because one mistake I made once of trying it is that once the rocket guy start spawning, you're tempted to go kill them. The problem is that the more you kill, the more spawn, and I'm not sure of the number, but the best thing is to almost try to YOLO it, and just kill him, and after this there will be only the amount of rocket that are already on the screen, if you want. So right now there's only 2 around, so I just have to kill 2, and it's much easier obviously after. So that's why I do it this way, and it's something that in this game it's kind of hard to know how many enemy there is, because sometimes it feels like it's never ending, and one of those examples is the Genshin fight in chapter 7. There's a limited amount of IS Ninja, but at some point while you're fighting him, until you kill them all, it seems like it's never ending. So
yes, it does.
It's the same in here. More of them, IS Ninja, but good thing we have that corridor and we can just simply line them up.
Scythe is so strong.
It is. Well, for these enemies, you know, surprisingly, sometimes. And you see, I was stuck, and I actually.
Wow, you got the iframe on the wind. Is it reverse wind they call it?
Well, yeah, just the dash, but I got really lucky. It was say at the perfect time, you know, because if
And it
not,
can be done. It's just unfortunately a lot of the IS timing can be a little bit off sometimes.
it
So
is
doing that is a little trickier than it looks.
it is really strange. But not only this time I know for 100% that was improvised. Like I did not plan that dash perfectly. It just
Nobody plans to
yeah,
dash perfectly because it's tight.
it just ended up being that shot. And you know, now that I'm rewatching that part, this is not an easy gauntlet. It's kind
No,
of a,
no, none of this is easy, dude.
it's kind of a hard one. Yeah, but some, I mean, you can save more after this one. You're fighting for quite a while, I think.
Damn straight. That's why save states are amazing, dog. Every fight's its own gauntlet.
Yeah, like but
Create your own difficulty.
some people would abuse that obviously and
Oh,
do
definitely.
like a million save state in one fight, and then they'll have the perfect fight. And people,
And do you know what makes me sad about that is it means that the people who use save states just to skip loading and to have quick restarts, it makes those guys look shady, even though they're not.
Yeah, but well, I don't
love
know.
save states for good reasons, but
Yeah.
I hate them for bad ones.
But the thing is I'm sure some people do it, you know, properly and don't abuse it, like you're saying.
Yeah, they
They're
have
really
to.
doing it for the time. But on the other end, it's guaranteed that there's some people who are abusing that to make people think that
Well,
they
look at
have
these
the
people
perfect
faking
run.
speed runs
Yeah.
and shit. Like, come on, guys, just practice.
And get better for real.
Yeah.
Get better for real. But they get caught a lot though nowadays.
They do, and
the
some of the
speed-
big ones are getting caught, which is just crazy.
Yeah, but good though, because you know sometimes these people they get like symbol like they're fucking gods, and makes you realize
Well,
that.
look at your community of Mission Mode Ninja Gaiden Black, where one of the record holders is a guy who refused to show proof of his records.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
people were going to buy him a capture card so he could show everybody what he was doing that made him so much better than everybody, and he wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
So what does that tell you?
It was definitely odd.
Dude is shady,
Yeah,
right?
it was weird, but one of
And
the
I can
weird.
say that. You can't say that because you're really nice. I can say that because that's what we're all thinking.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing is, I don't want to, you know, throw out names out there, but it's surprising because there's one other esteemed member of that community that's a beast and that's legit, and that decided to leave this guy's name there, you know. And that kind of surprised me from that person because you would think that someone that did everything fucking legit, that has video to prove it, would not accept someone that has world record and they are like fucking screenshot of something. Again,
no videos to prove it.
no offense
no
against the
display,
person,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's a bit shady. So
You would think because obviously when you get to that level, you know what it takes to do that stuff. You know the immense amount of time you have to put in there. So I would want personally as much proof as possible, because on the internet everybody's a god gamer.
right? So basically, guys, what we're saying and what I've said also recently is that if anyone watching this wants to do no damage run, you record that shit.
Yeah, record it, please.
Like that's what you do, because there's no point. Anyone can say they did a no damage, and you don't have proof.
Yeah, I was actually the first person in the world to no damage Ninja Gaiden 2.
But he
But
didn't.
I didn't
record
record it because I didn't think it'd be that special.
Yeah, there exactly. And his dad did it also, right?
Yeah, my dad also did it. He did it before me, before I was born.
So there you go, guys. You see?
So Godfather's actually the third person to do it now, so it's not as impressive, but that's why I'm here.
So that's what we're talking about here. The people
No,
that
anybody can tell you that they're amazing, and it happens all the time. I was streaming recently with a guy playing Bloodborne, who I thought was a really good player because he was in Tear Stone range on co-op, and it turned out he was cheating. And he completely denied cheating when we were all saying, dude, you're cheating, we've seen you get hit, you're taking no damage. And he was literally lying to our faces and
that's
telling us
sad.
that he was just playing normally.
Did he ever came back? Probably not.
He came back the day after, and then I kicked him immediately. because I do not suffer cheaters. I'm sorry.
No, no, yeah, I know you know, but like, I mean, there's to me, okay, I'm gonna say it. There's nothing wrong with cheating for fun in single player game where you're not affecting anyone else. Like,
Oh, I
for
agree completely.
instance,
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto. You know, when I was a kid,
Hmm.
you finish the game and then you cheat at the end. You want, you know, infinite ammo and all that shit. But that does not hurt anyone else. You're not tampering the experience of another individual but your own. And in that case, when you're cheating and it's affecting the people you're playing with, and you're cheating on the leaderboard and all of that
Yeah.
competition, that's when it's fucking wrong, I think.
Definitely. I mean, look at Turok 2. We would have never seen the game without cheese.
Right? Dude, could not complete those games when I was a kid.
The game is
That
brutal.
It's fucking hard. It's really, really hard. You know, all those games, and also the thing is, you check about those really old game is they really don't hold your hand, you know?
No, they do
And
not.
it's like,
If
dude,
anything, they spit in your face and then kick you in the knee.
figure the stuff out by yourself, and that's it. Like today, I feel they really hold your hand for a lot
They
of
really,
games.
they really do.
I mean, YouTube also is another way to get your.
Can you imagine growing up in this YouTube age where when you get a game, you can search on the internet to see all the high level play, video examples of exactly how to do everything? Can you imagine how much better you'd be as a player if you'd grown up with that?
Yes, but at the same time, it's like you would have had that bad habit of never attempting to try anything yourself because
You
you're
think so?
always well, it's because in a certain way, I feel when you've learned to do it by yourself, you know, before, we'll say when you were younger, it's like you already developed that side of you that is gonna wanna, you know, search thing for yourself and your own
Experiment.
strat. And while the other one, if you always rely on watching for you what would be the better player, for instance, well, that case, the better player might have not found the strat that you found, you know.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Well, it's the same example for for this game right now. Before I started that run, that other invalid run was better than my run because it was complete. And even though it's an invalid run now, like the gameplay, you know, was there. But I've learned from it. But at the same time, I didn't say, oh, the part that he took damage, I'm gonna do it the same, you know? And that's
Yeah.
pretty much me finding my own strategy comes from doing that when I was younger on older game, especially, you know, the difference. And you probably never knew that when you were young because you speak English and the majority of the game were in English, you know. And when I was a kid, well, I didn't speak English, I only speak French, and I didn't understand anything in English, so it was even harder to get game completed because you really had to go more with your gut and trial and error to figure out, for instance, where you have to go, because like even
The
if we
blind leading the blind.
yeah, because even if we don't want to say it at that time, like that was a really weird jump, by the way.
How
At
did he
that,
not grab the ball?
I,
That
I
was
don't
weird.
know. I don't know. At that time, like the texts were revealing a lot in those games.
Yeah, they were telling you everything you needed to do.
They were really important. So to play it like that, it was always like kind of a handicapped, if you want. So all of this combined, if you want, made it that today, even though I will sometimes help myself by watching someone who is better at the game at a certain point, you know,
Yeah.
I'm always going to try to come up with my own strat, you know. Like the majority of the time is going to be like that, and sometimes though it will happen. Like I remember Ninja Gaiden Black with that player Elfin Lid that I told you, you know,
Yeah.
really good player. Like I was inspired from some of the strat that he did, and then some strat now that I'm always using, you know, because they are the, oh my god, that's really annoying.
They're good strats.
They are
Universal.
good. They are good strat and they are reliable. So there's of course some instance where even though you want to find your own damn strat, you're gonna have to admit that there's someone that might have a superior strat that's like better, quicker, more effective, and that you're gonna end up using. But you know, and same as you want to come up with your own strat, and sometimes it will be some things that doesn't make sense to everyone else, and something that shouldn't be possible, and it makes it all the more enjoyable, like you're doing a lot of time, I think.
Well, the thing that I like to do, which is the thing that I've done for the most time, is I like to do it my own way. I like to figure my own way through it, get my own strategies, get to a level where I feel comfortable that my skills are established, and then I look for whoever's the best or whoever's got the most impressive gameplay to see what they're doing differently, and then I incorporate the elements that I see from them and build my own thing from that. And I find that that is oftentimes a really, really effective way of kind of getting over some plateaus in my ability that I might not have known that I had, and it works wonders.
Yeah, I do agree. That's a really good way. But you see, you're doing it yourself at first before.
Yeah, I will never understand those people that use walkthroughs when they've never beat the game, and not necessarily because they're struggling or they're lost, but because they literally just want to watch somebody else do it.
Yes.
So they don't have to do the learning part. I love the learning part, even though I suck at it sometimes.
Yeah, no, you will not understand everything the first time, and that's why after you play it, some people will make you realize that there's something that you basically did not understand, some mechanic that you could improve on and all of that. But that's part of making yourself, I think, a better gamer overall, you know?
Yeah, it's very humbling, and you need that.
And I'm saying that, guys, as I'm coming up on Zidonius, and I'm gonna graveyard spin that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, like that boss, okay, no joke. I'm not lying. I'll try to get it that pissed me off. I'll try to get it better, and I got lucky here too, because I could have been waiting another time, you know. I swear, on my second run, I'll fight him better, bro. But like, I cannot stand that boss. It's one of those weird boss for me that I haven't found a really reliable pattern to fight that fucker. Beside for the good old graveyard spin, you know.
Here's a question for you, Godfather.
Go ahead.
Were you inspired to try the graveyard spin after you saw me and Zoc spamming the shit out of it in Razor's Edge?
I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say no. Like, I know it's not the same in Ninja Gaiden 3.
It's nowhere near as strong, but it's still very good.
But yeah, and I mean, it doesn't work on every boss. It works on Nim.
And it's nowhere near as safe either.
It works on Nim, and like that's about it. So that's why like I use it here. That also, that I don't know, that crash is hard to dodge.
It's really hard to dodge, yeah.
Not easy to dodge. A lot of the time, if you want to go safer, dual sword 360 wide actually is the best thing. And right now, talking about 360Y, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Now,
whoa! You're doing 360Y dash towards.
Right? Yeah, but not always. I like here. He's in the corner and he's done for pretty much, and that's what you want.
You can double hit here as well because it's on him so long.
And sometimes you see get out of it at the end, but here you go. Gets the job done. I'll try to get a better fight later on, but for now, I mean, graveyard spin for the win. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna let Mr. Seraphim conclude, and I will see you next time.
Yeah, graveyard spin for the win. I have a little bit of experience spamming that move so much that I had to turn the voices off. But yeah, thank you for watching, and you take care now.